got belly fat or the muffin top or even the fupa, like some women like to say, in this video, I'm going to break down how to go from belly fat to six pack abs. I'm going to show you how to build a body that matches your ambition and your success. Okay. These are proven strategies that I use for my private coaching clients who are dropping 40, 50, 60 pounds in only 6 months. And make no mistake, as they're dropping this weight, their stomach is getting flatter. Okay. And so, with that said, I was having a conversation with a guy the other day, and he was just explaining his frustration with looking like the typical dad bod. And I was like, man, you know what? I didn't know guys really had that much like built up frustration around, just not having the cut and the tone and the definition. And so I was like, I want to make some content about this because I know a lot of people have those same frustrations. I've had women explain the frustration of not being happy about how their body looks when they take their clothes off. People, both men and women, explain to me that they're, always hiding how their body looks behind their clothes, but when they take the clothes off, they're like, it's not what I wanted. And so, with that said, I want to give you some game on what steps you can start taking to slim down your waistline and keep it that way. And so, the first thing is this: you can't just focus on calories. Most people who just focus on calorie in, calorie out, those are the type of people who always have the fluctuating weight. Because once they don't have the willpower to keep doing the calorie deficit or keep doing a strict diet or, just giving up meats, giving up carbs, giving up sugar, they end up going back to gaining the weight again. All right. The stomach got flat and then it got big again. We see this all the time. We even see folks from the Biggest Loser TV show. I don't even think it's a thing anymore, if I'm not mistaken. But people started suing the TV show who were on the TV show because they lost a lot of the weight, they gained it all back. And so I can understand how that can be frustrating and discouraging and embarrassing because not only did you see the weight came back, but everybody else saw the weight come back. And so we don't want to do it that way. What we want to do is shift from just being calorie based focus to upgrading our focus around being nutritionally dense with the foods that we eat. Okay. And so focusing not just on the calories, because calorie intake is important, but we want to know, how much protein am I eating? Like, these are things you should start asking yourself on a daily basis. Not just, am I eating the right amount of food, but am I eating enough protein on a daily basis? Am I eating enough starch? Am I eating enough carbs on a daily basis, like fibrous carbs from fruits and green vegetables? Am I eating too much starchy carbs on a daily basis? Too much bread, too much French fries, too much, potatoes, whatever it may be. Am I eating the right amount of healthy fats on a daily basis? Things like avocados, walnuts, almonds, cashews. These foods are critical and essential, not just for fat loss, but for energy. Most people, they just look at calories in, calories out as a way of losing weight. But high achievers understand it's not just about the look, it's about the energy. I want to look good and feel good on a daily basis. And so when I think about going from belly fat to six pack, it's not just the appearance, it's also what having a six pack represents. The six pack represents you're taking care of yourself, you have more energy, you feel well, so you're able to live well, you're able to excel in your career. What's going on, everybody? I see y'all commenting right now. I'll acknowledge and chat with y'all once I finish up. I don't want to break up the value. Okay. And so here's the thing: the person, I just want you to think for a second. Think 3, 6, 12 months from now. You're down 30, 50, 100 plus pounds, wherever you are right now. Or maybe you just have belly fat. You're just like, I hold all my weight in my stomach. But then your stomach is flat now, right? You have maybe even abs, right? How does that impact your life? Like, how does that impact your professional life? Do you walk into the boardrooms or you walk into, meetings or conferences and have this silent confidence about yourself where you just like, like other people admire and respect you because of your appearance? That's the world that we live in. Like I didn't make the rules. I'm just here to tell them to you. And people pay attention to your appearance. There's a such thing as pretty privilege and handsome man's privilege. It's a thing, you know. And for if you like me, I want to get every edge that I can in life because my upbringing, I had no edge. Like I had to find edges, find ways to get to that next level, and I just never stopped. Like looking for the edge, and I understood if I took care of my body, I'd be able to attract more opportunities into my life. But if I didn't, not only would it be hard for me to attract more opportunities, but I also find myself feeling bad. You know, imagine trying to go through life and you're not even happy about the place where you have to live inside your body. Like, guys, of course, there's going to be so many people who fall into mental ruts and sad moments and, you know, a lot of adversity. But it's like you feel a little bit better. And I know in my personal experience, I just felt so much better when I woke up, even though I'm going through stressful moments and time frames in my life. And I'm just like, man, you looking good today, man. You looking good. You know, you put on your clothes, and I'm putting on my clothes, and I'm like, wow, you know, I'm loving the way my clothes fitting on me. Let's go fix things today. Let's go fix my life. Let's go get to where I want to be at. You know, it just makes life so much better. Okay. And so with that said, that's the first thing you want to start doing. You want to start paying attention not just to calorie being calorie obsessed, but start being macro obsessed. The types of foods you're eating. Okay. Not eating a lot of processed food, even though it's fine to eat it from time to time, but these processed foods tend to have more calories in them. And you find yourself having brain fog and not being able to perform as well in your career and feeling mentally exhausted and stressed. But if you eat more quality foods and you're more mindful and intentional with what you eat, guys, I'm telling you, not only will you look better, you're going to feel better. Okay. So that's the first thing you want to do. The second thing, you want to shift from doing endless amounts of cardio. Shift from doing endless amounts of cardio to doing resistance training. If all you're doing, I appreciate that, Chaos Whisperer. uh, if all you're doing is endless amounts of cardio and you find yourself being like, man, I'm losing weight, but I'm looking like mushy. I'm losing weight, but I'm still not happy with how I'm looking when I take my clothes off. A lot of people tend to hide their body behind big clothes or their suits, and you know, people can't see it. But when they take those clothes off, they can see it. And they're like, you know, they're not happy about it. And so that's what happens when you just do cardio, because you can lose weight and still have a high percentage of body fat. You won't have that definition. You won't have that tone. You won't have that cut look, that strong look that most people want. And so I want you to think about where you are right now. You know, when you look in the bathroom mirror, when you take your clothes off, are you happy with what you're seeing? You know, or do you feel like there's another level to where to your looks, your appearance? You're like, man, I'm doing well, but I know I could do better than what I'm doing. And if you're listening to this video right now and you're watching, I know you have what it takes to do better. You're meant for more. That's why you're listening to this. You're watching this because you want more. Deep down, you know you can accomplish more. That's the person you are right now, and that's the person that you deep down feel like you are meant to be. And so that's why you're here today. And so you can have it, but you have to shift your thinking around just doing cardio to shifting your thinking to I'm still going to do cardio because I want to have energy. I want to be healthy because cardiovascular, our heart, right? Cardiac, right? When they say cardiac arrest, it's our heart, right? You have a heart attack. And so you want to be doing things like cardio for your heart health, your brain health, your mental health, okay? Your physical health. Um, but you want to be lifting. That way you could look good in your clothes, in your suits, and when you take your clothes off. That's the shift. Okay. That way you look like the person deep down you know you should feel like. You feel like you should look like. Because we always have this like there's like the reality of how we look and how we live, but then there's another reality that we have inside our head. And at times in my life, I've noticed that there's been like a disconnect And whenever there's a disconnect with how I view myself internally, but my reality doesn't reflect it externally, like, man, I get hungry. Guys, you got to get hungry, man. A lot of high achievers, they understand, like, you accomplish certain levels of success in your career and with your family. And it's like they tend to start to lose hunger. And then that's when things start to slip. That's when the weight starts going up. That's when they don't have the energy like they used to have. That's when their confidence starts suffering. But where along your life journey did you start to lose that hunger? You have to get that hunger back because you have to continue to have a vision of what you can become. Once you lose that vision, our vision drives our decisions, guys. Like if you don't have a prosperous vision that you're moving towards, you start to settle. And there's nothing wrong with settling if you're happy with where you are. But if you know deep down there's another level to you, you feel like you're leaving a lot of your potential on the table. You feel like there's a lot of wasted potential. Then it's time to start shifting what I call your identity. Most people think that this is all about having a lot of willpower. Most people think you got to be some type of bodybuilder to take care of your health and work out and eat properly, or some type of fitness enthusiast, you know? But ask yourself, are you that type of person? Are you a fitness enthusiast? Are you a bodybuilder? Because whether you are or not, you don't have to be. Like I don't really look at myself like a fitness enthusiast. Like it's just something that I do because it's something that gives me the value that I want as far as looking a certain way. My standard of living is so high, like I care a lot about how my body looks. Not just from like a vanity standpoint, but I want to impact other people. Like a lot of people within their identity, they're just thinking about themselves. But you can have an identity where you think about how you look and how you move on a daily basis impacts the people that you love and care about, impacts the people in your career. It impacts how you're able to climb and excel in your career, and also your kids, your parents, your lover, your partner. If you start to embody that version of yourself you were meant to be, not who you are right now, how you living right now, but think about that version of yourself 3, 6, 12 months from now. You had a flat stomach. You have the abs. How does your life look? How does that person move? How does that version of yourself show up on a daily basis? Is that person committed? Is that person consistent? Is that person, hungry? Hungry for more, hungry to continue to evolve and not stay stagnant. I find a lot of times most high achievers, like, you start to feel like this stagnant when things are not growing and evolving, and it doesn't just have to be with money, or just like success. It could be anything. That's when you start to like dig holes in your life. I heard somewhere they say rock rollers, if you don't entertain them and give them some type of purpose, they start to dig holes in the backyard and in the yard because they don't have purpose. I believe people do the same thing, especially high achievers, because we have the internal energy, but if it's wasted, we tend to drink more alcohol, drink more wine, smoke more, eat more food, you know, and it becomes wasted potential. But the more you have that vision, by shifting your identity to have that vision of what you want to accomplish in your life, shifting your identity to say, I'm not just working out to lose weight or have abs. It's about what it represents to have these abs. You're becoming a better version of yourself, more confident, more energy, more discipline. You're able to be a leader in the boardroom in your career, but also with your family. This is what leaders do, y'all. We do whatever it takes to continue to level up. And then the average folks, they just kind of settle. And they wonder why, they're tired all the time. They wonder why their clothes don't fit. They wonder why, the kids not excited to see them. The kids not really like just, growing up in a way where they want to take care of themselves. Yeah, Dad, I see you're making good money, but man, John's dad over there, he's like outside watering the lawn and has his shirt off, all cut up, ripped up, nice GMC truck. Man, you got to start to dream more. You got to start to feel like, man, I'm that guy too. And that makes you hungry for more. You start to do what's required. It becomes a standard to hit the gym. Not a not a what do they call that, like you feel like you're obligated to do it. No, you want to do it. You want to eat the right way because you know it's going to give you energy. You know it's going to give you the body that you really want to have. You know it's going to give you the confidence. It's a difference. I don't help the type of people who they want somebody to just like pull them and hold them and, oh, you got to do this. Oh, you got to. No. High achievers don't need that. All they need, hey man, just give me some support. I just need a game plan that I can execute on. Because they understand willpower and motivation will come and go. But if they have the right systems, the right plan, and they execute consistently, they get the results. And so when you start thinking in this way, you start to shift your identity, because make no mistake, this isn't about just losing belly fat and having abs. This is about transformation. You transforming yourself, not just externally, but internally. You got to be willing to do the work. And sometimes the work doesn't happen overnight, but you have to make that decision to start that transformation. Otherwise, a lot of people tend to push things off, procrastinate, and things don't get better just magically. Most times things get worse. It becomes harder, and even more costly. And so, shift your identity. Stop being a dabbler and start being somebody who executes. Stop just focusing on calorie intake and start focusing on the quality of the foods you eat. Stop just focusing on endless cardio and start focusing on really building a body that you're proud of by lifting weights. You do these things, I'm telling you, that's how you can go from belly fat to six pack and looking up 3, 6, 12 months from now, loving the way you look and loving your life. All right. With that said, guys, we're out of here. I'll drop a link down in the description below if you feel like you'd want like some help from me, some structure. That way you're not winging and guessing on what steps you need to take in the gym and with your nutrition. You can hit that link and explore the option of being able to work together. All right. Let's see. I think I've seen a couple of comments. Let's see here. Only one thing. I'm not eating enough. If you know what I mean. Um, it depends, man. Like if you feel like you're not eating enough, that comes down to if you need to lose weight. If you need to lose weight and you're not losing weight, that means you're eating too much. Okay? That's what that means. Um, Now if you are losing weight and maybe you feel like you're starving, you feel like you're hungry, then that's, yeah, you possibly are not eating enough. But most people who are 30, 50, 100 pounds overweight and they're not seeing the weight go down, they don't need to eat more. They potentially need to give themselves more frequency of meals throughout the day. That way they can manage their energy and stress instead of like eating one meal a day and they're starving by the time they eat that meal and they binge eat. All right. So that's something to be mindful of. Mariano, what is up? Willie, what is up? All right, guys, I'm out of here. Let's crush it.